I don't date teleporters because they're a fucking coward. And it's just that plain and simple. They're a fucking coward. And then by the end of it, you think any of your bullshit impresses me? You endanger us every chance that you can, even for periods of time that are so long that my patience is undefinitive. But then you act like everybody's so stupid and doesn't fucking notice. I don't owe you anything at all. So even when you sit there and you try to cock ride my side or some shit, you decline the duel too. Girl or whatever, the way you was acting all high and mighty like you had more power than everybody. Meanwhile, then I sit there and I'm like, ooh, the monkeys are learning. See, you never really been in a fucking situation. So you're spoiled. Even for my protection, other people's protection. But then when it boils down to you don't even understand the meaning of your own danger, I would never date you. I would never be with somebody like you because you don't even know what you're jeopardizing for me, my love, or what I would think that I had with somebody. So that by the end of it, the monkeys are learning and then you don't even see the danger in it and you fucking stupid and I have to deal with it. But then close Q, like let's focus on the real thing. They're starting to learn that your position or your location is insignificant. And they're starting to pick up on the way you talk and you act all egotistical and that they can't hit you. And it's like, where is it? It's a ghost. Then it hones in and starts to realize everything in life, technology, evolution. Ooh, they starting to realize on the radio, it's not where you are. It's not sonar. It's not radar. It's not a blip on the map. It's a frequency. Bam, your mind breaks down, unlocks everything, and realizes time is the last significant element. And you fucking wasting it for all of us and putting us in danger. But not only that, with your fucking arrogance and the way you talking over everything and want to run all your soldiers into the ground for even trying to protect you to act confident like you can just talk over mankind and be a socialistic bitch. I don't cover you. I don't protect your type. It's about other people that have been through shit, post-traumatic stress, and we defend ourselves from a different predator. You don't believe in that fucking predator. They start picking up on you talking so arrogantly that they couldn't hit you, and they started to realize, oh, wow, you pissed me off enough that guess what? It's your fucking frequency. So time is real, and we're not all with anybody, and your arrogance makes it feel like, oh, God, there is only one God because there isn't really a you or free will. It is assimilation because it's like we're all in line to think. How dare you do that to us when the frequency could be different and the dimensions could be different and that could provide the adequacy? But you're so arrogant over all of it that we all have to concede to the fact that your frequency is visible and now other monkeys can figure out how to attack you. And as they're sitting there learning, you are so fucking stupid and shallow and vain that you don't even have the recognition of your own safety and well-being. And that's what I'm supposed to guard? You lucky that I'm smart and it's a little bit easier for me to do that. Because back in the day, I'd have been in line to slap you. And the weird part is I already know how to do that spiritually, so I don't even need to. But I just sit there and I fence them off and I call them a coward for not escorting me to a real duel. I'm not going to help out a teleporter and just work all day for that bullshit. And then the only person that's helping is cheap-ass fucking people. Challenge me to a duel or shut the fuck up. Or get the fuck out. And that's the end of it. You trash for even harassing me for your self-esteem or whatever the fuck it was that you were insecure about the world. Other than that, you shouldn't have to have confidence in the world and delegate yourself and show dominance over everyone else in order to feel comfortable enough in your humanity to just exist. We didn't fuck up your mind. You fucked it up yourself, and you were arrogant, or you helped yourself fuck it up even further. That no one can save you. So we can't save you. Oh, well, you're more powerful than us. But when those monkeys get that frequency and they realize that all of this is skewed into one dimension of understanding that the universe doesn't mean you, but your interpretation and all of our perception is in an equality of being in line for something because you're fucking arrogant, or we were all living in equality and realize that we're all rationally the same existence from our own perception, which is in an equivocal a place, person, or thing. So you've objectified yourself and all of us, and we have to live with that definition in order to comprehend why we shouldn't have to go through time and space and teleport to slap you across the fucking face because it's more honorable to challenge you to a duel. This is my perception. You can't live with it. You don't owe me. I don't owe you nothing. So don't come to me like you fucking understand me well enough to know where you're leading me. You were trash trying to lead me to more trash and trying to call it treasure for something I don't even believe in. I'm not going to guard your form of freedom of speech. You endangering all of us. That's against freedom of speech. So by the end of it, just stay the fuck away from me. I owe you a fucking thing. And even by the end of it, like how I wore people to, well, guess what? The more you put me up to little fucking fencing wars, they start learning, or your spiritual crap like fucking nuisance, weakling, fucking coward wars. It still reveals the fact that once the monkeys start to get it, they can figure out where your location is. So don't be so fucking arrogant with me. I might be good, but like, I'm not taking hostages here. You want some other bullshit. I don't have to hold you. You a sicko. That's not no free defense. Be about something, then we defending the world. We taking care of each other. Things are better because we have our rights. We make more rights. We pay our dues. We honor what we all have to honor. But you making sacrifices on other people's lives for infinite wisdom when it's just you making one mistake after another, being spoiled and taken care of, it just doesn't work that way. Those are sacrifices for mankind, or they're nothing but your fucking sheer arrogance and stupidity. What I had to offer, what I had to teach was up to a certain point where everybody was making better. You a setback. Now I owe you nothing. So don't talk to me for 3 weeks or 4 days and then try to act like you eventually gonna make a fucking point. No, you're not my type. You're not my way. We missed each other on fate. You go some other way. That's how that is. To a new life. I owe you. And you were never my type anyways. Guarded something else and then you thought you could take advantage of that. I owe you. That's the end of that fucking story. And then it comes back to the same point. When them monkeys hone in on you, I can tell you never been through no shit. You spoiled. Like they just gonna accept your little socialistic bullshit. I don't. All the other nerds don't. You in the wrong section with that shit. Go to be with them because we don't bother them either, so we don't know each other. Oh well. Well, I don't care. You like interested in more interesting and intellectual people. I don't give a shit. You go somewhere else, then you didn't make it here. You go find another fate or another quantum in history and life where you made it that far. Okay, Nelson Mandela. We don't know. A Mandela effect ain't happening here because either you on the fucking frequency and we doing shit, or something else happened. We don't know what the fuck happened to you. So you come back to us with wisdom. We don't care how many dimensions they fucking leap and gap. I don't get with all that. You get back to like, all the progressive people were doing good. The people with over 300% IQ in the room don't know what the fuck you're talking about because we were always doing good. When did you get off the bus to not do good? It's like saying you wasn't busy with us. I should slap you. And the weird part is you only want to know how to slap people the wrong way. And why don't you go do it the proper way? Get the glove out. Challenge him to a duel. He refused. He's a coward. Go live like a coward. You bitch ass. Get the fuck out. That's how that goes. You didn't want to live for nothing, so all your bullshit seemed trivial when you wouldn't put your life on the line and make a sacrifice for nothing. That's positive people with intelligence. Otherwise, you get the fuck out. I'm not going to humor your bullshit. I'm not going to humor it for money either, because that's like playing with demons and 25 mil. Take your 25 mil, get the fuck out. I don't offer you no divine fucking wisdom because you can't earn it. You fail every fucking good thing, and then the little parts you want to like come here and bitch to me or hold my fucking life to the significance of your socialistic bullshit, or even treat me like a fucking king. What you whining me for? Why you buttering my fucking turkey? I owe you. I want nothing from you. So then it gets back to like, did you pass any of the criteria? No, you didn't. So you all that magic shit. But I can tell already, like, when I gave you a warning and you still want to go like that, I don't even care because I'm like, the monkeys are starting to figure out how to jump your ass. So you lucky somebody else erased it because I don't do erasing. Oh, they suddenly forgot and then they were in a different speech. I don't do all that shit. Luckily, I don't post myself up on people and I don't post myself up on objects either. So no one knew where my memory was when they fucking did that attack. Lucky for me. And it doesn't always work that way because you jeopardize me again. That's forever. I always have to remember that anytime that's fucking possible. I could be talking about the new light sphere leading to a new civilization to go to a better Pegasus land or some shit. And you're going to steal all that shit, forget about Phoenix Project, and just like go a shitty route and then go to a shitty speech about 4 hours about money and how you're going to make more money than anyone else who didn't go to the speech and instantly forget everything I told you about a new universe. That's how that goes. So I don't like your type. See, there's a lot of things wrong with you. But then when I know that you're missing a very basic intelligent form of thing, is like, oh shit, the monkeys, or oh shit, those human beings are learning how to do something savage. That's not a good thing. It had nothing to do with survival. It was all bad stuff. And you not seeing on your life being in danger because they're stupid, then you're not my type. I get the fuck out of there, becoming more stupid and smart. I don't know nobody that type of evil. You put stupid and smart together, you get evil. You put some greed in there, you know, you got a bunch of sins. And it's not even like I'm that religious, it's just you that fucking stupid. And you ever been so fucking stupid that the Bible is the only way to fucking explain you? Or you ever been so good that the Bible is the only way to not explain you? And that's how that goes. Even when they love you, it's like, why don't you talk about the church more? Why don't you support us more? Because they fucking crazy. And if I love you, there's nothing to say except for I'm going to keep this Bible in my closet. And every time they look for some sicko shit and all they find is some Bibles and some bunch of beautiful religious augments and shit, they'll be like, holy shit, this guy had nothing in his heart except for like fucking love for this and hate for everything else that was wrong. So you're going to have to live with that. That's what perfect is. Oh, well, you didn't like perfect. You didn't like eugenics. Oh, well, I like myself. Oh, well, I owe you nothing. What the fuck is with this, oh, you have a stomach, and my stomach I'm fat. What's with you? And your feet stink. You always about some weak self-esteem shit. And then like you want to profit and shit and then talk about some socialistic shit. The fuck kind of confidence is that? And then what? Then when somebody has to challenge you to a duel because you don't understand what intelligence you're looking for from me, you like a disease, like you want some mistake from me. Well, why would I owe you a fucking mistake? Oh, your back hurt because I lean back and forth when I talk and into shit. Oh, well, I wasn't hurting you. You was in the wrong place. Stupid ass. And I hate those type of people. And then when the monkeys start getting alert, you looking at me like I'm the best and I'm the king, so I should help protect you. Nah, bitch, you up short. You did something stupid. You did something stupid. I love protecting women, all that bullshit. But like when it comes to a certain wall where you hit, I'm like, oh, well, bitch, your eggs weren't good enough for this world. Bye. You see ya. Shoved her off the mountain 300. That's my bitch. Deformed baby. I'm out of here, whore. I just don't owe the bitch. Especially, like, it doesn't even matter if she was promiscuous or slut. Until you make a mistake. Like, you know, whatever. You're a human being. But once you make that fucking mistake, bullshit ass mistake, you done with me. You off the bus. Whatever happened to you is what happened to you. I do everything I can without breaking fate, and then you want to make me make mistakes? Nah, fuck that. I can even tolerate it and do other things and still protect the precious cycle, the precious progress, the precious pioneer, the precious quester, the precious objective, the precious mission, all of that good and then some and more with key lime pie. I don't give a shit. But then when it comes to like just sheer arrogance, but purposely making mistakes to fuck me over, like I'm just gonna juggle that shit because I'm so good. It's not even like a pride thing, but you try to turn it into that in such a vain, disgusting way that I'm just like, you emasculating me to what? To what mistake? So you have nothing to show for it except for your arrogance shows through because you were looking in your mind for the casual habit of blaming someone for something and then continuing why you were being arrogant. That doesn't work with me. So you got to get a mistake first in there. You're not going to find that many here. These fucking people. But then by the end of it, like, you don't realize that, yeah, they not shooting at you. They not, like, I'm talking about lasers, fireballs, kamehamehas, sparks, electricity, fucking stone, dust, smog, death, all of this other crap. And all the shots are missing and you're looking at me like I'm saving us. Then all of a sudden they starting to realize that it's the frequency. Bitch, I don't owe you anything. How I got out of that is none of your business. Oh, why some bitches love way too much? Well, I don't have a memory cell of you and love. I don't work that way. So you can't just get warm with me and then think that we'll always have a memory cube of what we did last summer. Bitch, you crazy. I don't owe you. That's an empty cabinet. Like we broke up. I don't owe you. You's a dumb bitch again. It's just that's how that goes. When I don't owe you. And then when you start to get the realization of what I could do, there's you out the window. There's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is spare myself the memory of grief, and eventually my memoirs aren't a home for my dimensional bullshit. including surviving different things. You're still going to have to look for a stairwell. I mean, you up short. I can only do so much. And even when other people give me miracles and help me the fuck out, I still have to be like, I can only do so much. But at least everything that I tried to set up was good enough for fate to give an excuse for them to help me. Try some shit like that, because if you're going to think that you're invincible to everything, even my arrogance couldn't help you. And I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but when it comes to all my secret strong magic and shit, nah, I don't owe you that. And how many people that want to hate you so badly that I couldn't tell you, port you out of there? So, you know what, don't worry about it. The Eric Demons does not owe you a fucking thing. And there's a lot of people that are haters in the world, even when you're Prince of Perfect or some bullshit. Like, they gonna hate your ass, and there's gonna be times that you just can't use the bullshit because you have to solve the problem. What if the problem causes some certain volatility? Then I got the fuck out of there. I didn't choose to save somebody being that arrogant. I'm not going to do that in spite, and then they're going to have only themselves to blame for how I bit their hand and got the fuck out of there out of fear. Out of fear. I don't care. You scare me, I'm out of there. I don't owe you. I don't owe you all that bullshit. But then when it comes back to you as a bitch declined the duel like you had no honor. I've had women try to duel me. I thought it was beautiful because it was like, even you're unwilling to accept fate doing that, even if they tried to blame me. And I was like, even this other girl wanted to try to duel me because she thought I did something to fate. I was like, that's beautiful. That's my type of chick, but too bad she's just not really my type. So I had to explain to her that it wasn't me. They were just trying to get us to be aggravated with each other for some fucking reason. You know how they like to see a man be a loser to something. I don't know. And I didn't care in that way. I don't know. I just wasn't involved in it. Because sometimes they'll be like, this guy's really smart. So if we put him in shit, maybe he'll give us the answer out of being stupid. No, I just give you either a worse answer or I just don't respond to it because the rules of what I know is better for the world would make it a worse world for me to respond. So the best answer is to suck it up like a man and don't respond to certain things. Like, you know how like old prize boxers will bait you into a fight, and then you just get every once in a while you get one of those silent fucking boxers that everybody hates. The correct choice is, I won't respond to that. But the incorrect choice is being ice cold, not responding as a human being at all. You should have responded as somewhat as a human being and gave them some kind of clarity and then went your own way. Why did they lose the fight? Because the other person was considered more arrogant for not being human instead of lashing out and saying all the stupid shit that human beings wanted to say. Well, maybe you had more spirit power from that stupidity. How they called it a hustle. I don't sell a hustle. So you can already see I'm closer to the cold man than them, but, there's nothing to say, you stupid. And then I just call you stupid is better. And then I just keep it real basic with you. Like, mankind don't have to jump over a bunch of idiots to get where it's going. Or it shouldn't be that way. Because that's not called survival. That's not called evolution. We'd have to actually go over top of them? Like, come on now. Most of the time, that's not evolution. And in a human sake, no. In a survival sake, no. In an animal sake, what the fuck, when you come past that point, but why would you be in stupid land? Or you're only doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So, can't blame you. But for that type of egomaniac type of a bitch, you got nothing on me. I don't owe you. And all the places where I'm just nice, you actually start thinking because I'm nice that there's something to take advantage of. That shit is dashed so quick. And I've seen the world fucked up, or the spiritual world fucked up so many different times that as soon as I can just do a little mistake for you all and then leave and you don't know what to do or how to fix it, it's laughable to get rid of you and then let you deal with the problem and then go fix it somewhere else and hope that it passes like a real solution should. Like, hey, 5 miles down the road, the new gas station was put up so y'all will be able to go and do your thing post-apocalyptic. It gets fixed. And if it doesn't, I'll be like, damn, they were stupid too because they just wanted to hold the answer instead of letting the water pass through. You know what I'm saying? And that's why anarchy as a concept won't work. And every once in a while, if you're going to have some kind of a test where they're already stupid, why doesn't the concept of anarchy actually work? Which is, do we fix this shit ourselves? Unfortunately, no. Do we really need police? Do they fix this shit themselves? Unfortunately, no. So, as much as I'm like, go anarchy, like, here's a stick, pass it to the other one, told them what I told you. It doesn't make sense now, but if you tell them later, when they're done with their argument, they'll know exactly what's growing next and which to eat and which is going to black out and not be visible by the next sunlight. It's like, you don't really care to understand me because you've seen Terminator 2. You didn't see the Earth Ending Chronicles. You didn't see, sun gave up on you, doesn't owe you anything because you don't worship the sun god anymore. You didn't see that. You didn't see the fact that Earth don't give a shit because I was like, hey, bro, I got some snacks and it's gonna grow anyway. You think I see like you? I owe you. And so, enjoy your black and white vision because that's as close as I ever got to not wanting to fuck with you. And it's just, I don't owe you. And I don't even mind the light bearer. He coming with me and he can go light whatever the hell he want. But when it comes back to your stupid asses, you should be careful because them bus stops start looking pretty fucking tricky. You know what I'm saying? You go play some other game. You're going to be living by bus stops and shit because the system going to have to own you because I won't. It's just that fucking even with you. It's just that cut and dry. I'm busy. So you can go talk socialistic anywhere you want. And I know there's other like motherfuckers that like that bullshit. You can go talk to Fire anytime. I don't even have beef with them. But you can go talk to him anytime. But I don't like to fucking heat up that much. So you can go talk to him anytime you want. But then by the end of it, when he becomes your friend and you be socialistic, I left the room. I don't care how many enemies or people that, I don't have any enemies really, but people that I philosophically don't get along with perfectly and you try to take advantage of that, it's as stupid as like, he lit my cigarette once, so you're stupid. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Fucking stupid. And then it boils down to like, you just want to talk to me. Me and you got nothing in common. You want to hear me talk so that you can figure something out. And then I'm sitting here, I just kind of like got all these little tapes worked out. And I'm like, as soon as you listen to all this, you're going to realize how far dead ass you was off. You's off, you gone, and goodbye. You have nothing to learn here. And even by the end of it, using that as an insult against me, when your type isn't around with your insecurity about it, or the godhood about it, or why it's annoying for gods, and why I don't care, because I'm like, it's supposed to be a raised paradise, but they're locked in war with other people and things over philosophies anyways, which I truly love and respect, but I don't compete them. So every time you try to do that and you're one of those failures, I don't teach you and I don't teach around you. So even if you get taught something, you learn something, it's my job to be like, hey, the other paradise has some different plants that don't hurt your elbows and your knees inflammation. Those are just some different plants. We like herbs and spices, so you can go over there and pick up your other stuff and then come back. That's my job. The other few jobs that I have would classify in a better ring of that. Why I'm good at fighting? I don't know what your type is. How that? Because like after a while, how would you know? Why are you like that? Why do you want an earthling to fight so hard for you? Are you an alien scumbag? Or would you like to come here and have a regular dinner with us? Why are we told not to eat with them? You're creeping me out. You see what I'm saying? You should be able to eat with all of us. Every life form kind of eats except for, okay, maybe they don't, but a big fraction of them don't. And the ones that don't eat have something else that I don't particularly like that you have in common with them. And then the other group you don't know, they're so far out of my sphere that when I discovered them, I was like, there's no way in hell. And what I don't occupy about them in their intelligence isn't what I would disturb to understand the first logistic that I learned about them. So I don't need to know that the other life form is just busy because it's just busy, and because it's actually really busy and doesn't give a shit about eating or any other thing that you have connectivity to in life. Looks like dirty scumlord shit. It's like you're a feces eater to those people, and to them, you must be like, 75% worse than a feces eater because they don't even know why you would have an emotion or why you're a vampire. So, a lot of weird shit. And even I'm not a vampire, even though there's certain times I have to work up the nerve and be like, the world needed this, wanted this. These are the people that, make these type of things. I enjoy this to a certain extent, but you go be human. And the rest of that is like, why should you be afraid of them or it? Their love, their life that they're just living, or fear to understand them because your greater predecessor is a predator. Well, he's right next to him, so why don't you encounter who you really are instead of being confused with what they aren't? How you living? So the leftover is that no one else is going to recognize that understanding until it's too late. So that's stupid. Go be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you a fucking loser. And then to risk so much fucking other people's lives for some little tormented thing like you just wanted to know. You were just curious. And even by the end of it, all the other better lessons you got weren't good enough. Then go do whatever the hell the rest of them did. Go find magic. You're looking for magic. You're not looking for a greater life being. Like being yourself. Like human being. Like being. You know, like you lost sight of that. Like being, like living. Like I'm just minding my own business, living, being, human being. And well, I don't know what the fuck you think it means sometimes. Because then sometimes I look at it and be like, you think human being means being better than everybody else or trying to get something more than everybody else? That's not a being. Like what, being over top of them? Like, well, what is that supposed to mean? So, you know, you're not a... And then if I grow stuff for a living and you even want to be over top of me, what do you think would happen? So then all of a sudden you don't know what dimension it's growing in. Then you can't help but worry about it. Then before you know, your worries become you. Then it's just kind of growing through you and in and out of you, and you wish I would give you a philosophy to go with it. What if it was growing and didn't need a philosophy, but we admire philosophies? So you got caught in that, and then by the end of it, what you're suffering from is something that we don't control or have control over, and it grows itself. So then you aren't into philosophies, you're into being a control freak and lied to me. Or are you going to learn to relinquish what is true and righteous to life, and your sacrifice is a greater being of yourself? Hopefully yourself. Hopefully yourself. That shit unbelievable though. And then to know that it doesn't even occur to you that the monkeys are learning how to beat the shit out of your ass. And it's your own fucking fault. And you just want to blame Hypnox. And sometimes I just don't owe you. I don't even care how I succumb. I just don't owe you. So even when you didn't know when to get the fuck out of that situation, you know, I gave us an exit and I got the fuck out of there. You fucking stupid. And then they addicted to be like, oh, never is never. And then you sit there and then you mock all the warriors for like sitting there and suffering. And especially mine who won't attack back for a long period of time and don't owe you nothing. And then by the end of it, when they're done suffering, they just start launching attacks. You want like some kind of a courtesy from them or to laugh at their suffering? You just trash. You just trash. I respect them because that's a lot of resilience in the right of what was wrong with the fucking world. So don't talk to me about it. All that just to pretend like we ain't all making mistakes. Because if they figure out what to do with that fucking mistake, it's going to make life detrimental and worse for all of us. Or putting us all in jeopardy spiritually. Because spiritually it's like, oh, no, it doesn't mean anything, right? They can't do anything to you, untouchable and shit. Then the monkey's hand comes out of nowhere and squeezes your wrist and then disappears. And then you sitting over there like, I saw a three-fingered fucking monkey. Okay? What are you trying to tell me? The other missing link? See, you don't even know what to say to me because you wouldn't even tell me the truth. So it's laughable when we get back to psychological analysis and you're just crazy because you wouldn't admit the truth. If you admit the truth, then somebody else could have been like, that's not a griffin, but it's near it. So all the religious deity creatures weren't real, but all their missing links ain't human. So you don't remember anything about anything. So anyways, I hit them with the flashy thing and then like, you know, Memorex their CDR through their brain cell and then just lapped it through their C4 and C3 and I got the fuck out of there. They call that your little pill box in the back of your head that you sleep on. So good night, sheep. I don't know you. And it's so fucking sad to know that spirituologically, they can't hurt you. They can't hurt you. All right, anyways, good luck, because Hypnox was a really nice person. You have to remember that there's a wall between your bullshit and your courtesies, and somebody was curt with you the whole entire fucking round. And the more that I act out in a positive way, the more other people start to realize, holy shit, these are all the messages that we really were getting. So they OD'd. They disappeared. They OD'd. They OD'd. They were caught up in the mafia. They disappeared. They OD'd. Like, come on. When you gonna face the fucking facts? Face reality. You know what I'm saying? It's a greater picture of it. And then what you gonna do? Like, oh, all of them are living forever, but the money is getting to them. They're suffering the money. The money's about the only thing left over, right? You don't even own your own humanity. You just own that fucking money. And that's how you equate yourself with humanity. No wonder you depressed. So then it gets back to it. Even if it was them talking about your money and not you, then there was nothing to say. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. What are you, stupid? It's not supposed to fucking hurt. It's not supposed to hurt. You know what? I wish I could explain it to you, but I shouldn't. Either way, it's not supposed to hurt. Sometimes it does. Oops, their accident, they're bad. So anyway, I don't know how to you anything. And then it just comes back to it like, man, and as all of them just sit there and learn shit, I'd be like, you in the wrong room. I can't believe somebody would be that weird and arrogant. And then when it comes to like how life is enslaved, the trick isn't to hurt you. The trick isn't to get your petty emotions out and resolve you. The trick isn't to have an argument. The trick isn't your fucking emotions. The trick is that avoiding enslavement. I don't owe you. Avoiding enslavement. A fucking enslavement. And you know what? Let me give you another thing about weird monkey shit that you should be worried about, other than why I'm not your adversary. Just want to give you a little hint about something. There's a bunch of non-violent things and technical things that I do that no one actually understands what I'm talking about. And I'm going to leave you and them here just so you can understand the proximity of how much I don't trust anyone or you. And I don't like or care for the jail system, but put it this way. Have you ever seen put it this way, certain shapes and certain angles and certain things lead you to understand that even in a pagoda or a domicile or any of these other type of things that don't have maybe irrelevance right now, just leaving you with an embed of an egg about how defensive some people actually are without hurting you. Did you know that I'm going to drop you off right here at that camera in the corner where it's facing the whole room from the corner of the room? I'm going to drop you. Now, there's only certain angles, and I say this as I partially want it broken, because you will always be in some form of enslavement because of the shit that you do. But anyway, because of that angle, you can see the whole room is kind of split up into a certain amount of dimensions. Even some parts of it are just not quite perfect for the dimension. That's not the secret way out. That's like you would fall into something almost as a categorization of something more straightforward than what's worse. So, anyways, that being fucking said, with all those angles and different things weighed out from you, and even the camera in the fucking corner, just a hint about how reality has to make ends meet about why would it ever be, or all these other things so in a weird way. Like if you see everything's connected in a normal brick way and then a straight logic and then another brick way, that means that there's almost no way out of that concept. And then there's a worse concept that includes the angles and all these other things where there is, no way out, because the reference point is so much worse than the fact of what they're actually trapped in. So then even with the extra corner out that you think you have out leads to even more of a dead end, that it's almost certain that you knew something and it was a dead way out. The key is to avoid enslavement. So by the end of it, if you've noticed any of these things and all of the defensive things that are there, not dropping you off at those places is a part of my fucking job. But when it gets to a certain point where you don't understand any of these things and you don't even really understand that you're kind of enslaved, it's just kind of like, why push it even further over the edge to realize that they don't even need violence. They don't even need violence. So even when you're sitting there and it doesn't hurt and it doesn't bother you and you're lying to me and no one's getting taught a lesson, no one wants to tame you, and all of this has to be only for the fact that it's not anything but your fucking selfish, a sacrifice, arrogance, or whatever the fuck that it is, it still gets back to the greater point. If none of that is true, then you should be worried about enslavement. And why the fuck would that be true? And if that is true, why the fuck are you talking to me about everything else except for the fact that maybe all of that is to get out of the fucking enslavement? So even when you learn all of this defense, you still have to be worried about some fucking enslavement. That's so terrible. To know that you could build your own giant mansion and it could fall in on you and you'd be stuck in your fucking mansion because you felt safe in your mansion. Isn't that fucking terrible? So there's no fucking way out of it. And then with them being that fucking disgusting to the world, there's no way in or out of it, because then you can't accept the world for what it is. What's wrong with it could lead to more enslavement. The only thing they can do is not rat on you. And that's my job, not to rat on you. And then by the end of it, it's just kind of like, okay, so even if you fucking hated me, it would be like the whole place is made out of brick. I could see every angle, but that one angle that's askew to it that seems like a form of freedom, which isn't, it's just another straight hallway that looks like a straight answer. Then when you get your actual other thought back, because of what you know is so tormenting about the rest of the shapes and trapezoids inside of all of those things, or whatever, you'll realize that whether it's burning or not, I never took that fucking way out because it leads to more enslavement. So what are you crazy about? So then after a while, it's just kind of like, don't be the first one to run there, because you're not going to win that car because somebody else already sufficiently enslaved the full dimension of the universe and the world to most of the extent. The rest of the 2 to 3% that you have left over, besides sex and your own bullshit about how you learn from mistakes or why you didn't make any mistakes, still goes to the factor of like, I doubt that you're going to get 3% out of jumping planes through the fucking universe and becoming the one and shit by defeating all your alternative fucking dimensional selves. That's like, you ate your own mistakes, in a weird fabulistic way. Look at it that way. But because there is no real form of that. That's like you went around eating people's cheese slaves or something, which is really stupid, because everyone knows that like everything is a wild animal. Eventually you just don't have it anymore, or you can't enslave it because eventually it dies from enslavement, of dying from depression, dying from crying. All of those things can happen, and it could be even a painless death. So by the end of it, like all of these things that people are putting up to such a great magnitude of being arrogant and problematic, or like it doesn't hurt, like the most arrogant shit I've ever heard in my life. Just go live, because like even if it didn't hurt you or you were that strong, trust me, you're worried about the other thing, enslavement. Because if you ever heard of like immortality, and they're not afraid of disease or all this other stuff, they don't even mind hard work. But then there's a dreadful thing called enslavement and disease. It still goes further. It's like you can live through all that to suffer. It's called suffering without a sacrifice. So everything is bad, even for the top guns, and all the best people in the fucking world. So don't bullshit me and all that bullshit. I wasn't designated to fucking take you, honor you, or to give a shit about you. It's just one of them things where like, I'm not making it there or my way without fucking mistakes there about your bullshit type of crap. I don't owe you. I'm not going there with that. So, whatever. But at least it was clean while I was there up to a certain point. And that's as far as I can do to honor myself. But to know that somebody's that fucking stupid, and then when they catch on, you want to blame somebody. Like I fucking owe you something. Like, now like I owe you something. Yeah, right. Yeah, the fuck right. And the arrogance on that, and then the undermining, disgusting ass compliment of it. Like I would honor that anyway. Like fuck that. Fuck that. There's a camera for you. And it's not even like surveillance is appropriate. I don't agree with it. It's just one of them things where like eventually enslavement is that. Because like, put it this way. Did you ever see that 2D and 3D aren't together? Now, even if you like the sun god like I like the sun god, I'm going to keep it primitive with your ass, because you're not going to get the second part of why I like to keep it primitive. And it gets up to a point where like sun god has nothing to do with it, but that's as close as you're getting with me. So we get back to if you take 2D and 3D and you know and you kind of don't know how to define it or say it or articulate it, there's a difference between 2D and 3D. You mean to tell me that some guy could take a camera, fold a 3D or 2D picture backwards and forwards with a camera in it at one angle, because the theory might be string theory? There you are. You are a fucking slave again. Now, even though I believe in string theory, I like string theory. String theory can work for one reason. And I don't believe in one reason. So anyways, I don't mind string theory. I'm just saying, take the hint. Why does everything always mean enslavement? And why are we always looking through one scope for an answer that obviously belongs to an equality or some shit? Like, it's very... Either that or the uninvolved state is very flat. It's like saying the world's flat again, and there's good reasons to say that. I'm not on the debate, but if you want to have a good, healthy debate, go have one. But all the people that are holding a secret are like 2D, 2D. All the other people that ain't holding a secret are like 3D, 3D. And let's just be honest with you. Yeah, there's some validity to 2D, but good God, that enslavement shit is wicked. And I'm not sure why anyone would hate someone so much, or the other perfect person who doesn't do anything wrong that much, that you would vote for slavery out of stupidity or ignorance, which you would vote out of it for stupidity or ignorance, which is clearly what it was. And then I sit there and I'm like, man, the monkeys are learning how to attack you. Just blame Thanos on your way out, because that's the only other guy that they try to get me to challenge. And if you blame Thanos, I'm free. Because then whatever happens to Thanos is like, well, if I have to save him, it's like I'm saving myself. So I wasn't really that much of an enemy with him anyway. So I blame Thanos. But then I still have to look at the greater world of all of this escapism and shit. And I'm just like, you still in that room, that jail cell with a camera. And what if that's your best leader? And he's in that jail cell room in that camera. Or even when you take it to pagoda and you make all these complicated shapes, and it can still be folded up on a piece of paper and put a camera at the end of the hallway or at the end of the fucking piece of paper. And it can be shot through all those different dimensions of light and reflect right back to those different dimensions of light. You're fucked. Even if you didn't believe in light or darkness in a spectrum of reality, you would still succumb to that. Because even when you like with me and you want to be like, well, you don't use light anyways, you only use dark. Oh, well, I didn't have a choice at that. Now, even when it comes to light and you think I have some extra power, you might be right. But you know what the real problem is? Like, you're going to end up sucking his toes, because he's still going to be ruling that house, because it's like, oh, basically he owns more fates in the profiteering, which profiteering doesn't mean making money to us. In religion, profiteering means that they probably worked too hard to call it money, because it was for the adherence of their normal progress or their discipline and status quo, which your translation seems to mean something more, proud and regular for that. So anyway, by the end of it, not for money. So there is no way to keep track of that balance in positivity or whatever the fuck, or in gain. So anyway, that being said, they could put a camera at the end of it and see right through it. So you still in that jail cell with that camera. Now, all the other things that you have to do to take care of yourself and to be free of so many different things, besides being a good little boy and just like realizing that the cage is within them, because it's not like I have to go and do a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? I just don't need a sports car that badly that I need to careen half of the highway over in order to get my motherfucking, McLaren F1 through so I can, whatever, barter my other fucking car. So I don't know. I put it this way. It's just not that fucking important. But it would be the equivalent of being like, okay, when you figure out that level of wisdom, how do you think it wouldn't be able to impose on what those laws are? But for right now, in almost every shape, except for some of the other things that people do know about reality and what you shouldn't really care about or know about reality, all of those things are enslavement. So even without, it doesn't hurt and it's not painful, I found it to be fucking worse. So I don't know how to tell you that, like, there's so many fucking wrong conclusions with what these people come up with, but that it doesn't hurt bullshit, that shit was fucking disgusting. It's like, even when I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you know, like, spirit logically, like, that shit isn't supposed to be a weapon. It's just supposed to nourish your life, and you're supposed to go live and meditate and do beautiful things and shit. It's not that it is. It's just like people do stupid shit. But then when you sitting there and you taunting them and the monkey's learning that bullshit, like you know, you done fucking stupid. But like, even when they try to put me in over my head with those kind of problems, the reason I'm acknowledging this shit is because with all the bullshit that I had to do, I don't need to care about what their greater good fight is. You should be able to overcome that, because Hypnox was here to tell you that you should be able to overcome it. Just remember, anything else is like that big enslavement and shit. And you know what they say in the other dumb world too, where like you're supposed to fight your way out and shit. Like, no, not really. Wait for a mistake, make it a better world, or like, you know, like a real mistake, like, you know, it'll force us to work on something better, and then, you know, whatever. That's about all you can do. Otherwise, you got to sit there and be patient and suffer the whole time until some of them learn or become better, or that you can lead them to a point of water, not nothing, or just violence or stupid bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So anyway, I think that's about it. It's just a sad disappointment. Wish I could tell you more, but yeah, either way, you know, the rest of them should be out of there. Shouldn't be fucking that fucking arrogant. And then to mock my own people that are like good people about all this stuff, and then, you know, to have no point except for you being arrogant. And then just wanting to talk to a bunch of people. That's some bullshit. And then, but what I put it up to is that, like, if enslavement isn't good enough for you, then once you're done figuring out that math problem and you're good enough to save all of them and all that bullshit, then let's get to the other surface fucking issue. What a waste of fucking time in how you put us all in line to obey one psychological issue that is stupid as enough as frequency, so that all of us have to sit there and listen to the person before we get in line and say something. That's some bullshit too. We don't have to do that. It's not even real. But when people act that way, it turns into that. It's like spiritual string theory. It's like we all have to like wait in line until somebody comes up with another logistic that frees us and not puts us in jail about all these other things that we simply have to do. Now, if I was pushing an ox cart, and why those type of things don't complain, it's because we know while we're pushing this thing, it doesn't matter if it was the weight of the world and I didn't notice it at some point and it was the fraction of it while I was pushing this ox cart. I was pushing the ox cart, so I didn't notice. That's the way that's supposed to be. As soon as you know, it's like a lot worse. Then you start adding everything up, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, I didn't want to be a Hercules beetle. No, that is too much weight. Because then by the end of it, it's like you knew, and the secret energy of not knowing wasn't there, that you just kept pushing harder anyways. Even when you kind of notice that it's just some extra weight, it's like you don't notice because the leverage of reality isn't what you are going against, fighting for, or even realize. So then the infinite strength is there to just persevere what you know would be a standard for normal human beings. That shit crazy though. And it does piss me off, but it doesn't much piss me off as like drives me senseless to a point where like, what do you expect to get out of that? And if you don't even understand anything that I say, and those are the final fucking limits of dictation and fucking tyranny or totalitarianism, that you don't understand any of that bullshit logically, then that hits the wall. You good and done with me. I don't fucking owe you. And then by the end of it, the rationality of pain and suffering doesn't even work that fucking well, because, well, shit, they are them. But and to notice how spoiled the person has to be to not realize, like, you don't understand the bigger intellectual emotions, which are like, holy shit, the monkeys are learning. Like, they're learning how to, like, throw their feces or to kill people or to throw rocks and shit. Like, that's a big fucking deal. I got the fuck out of there. I got scared. I became afraid and started to do other things. I have respect for that, because like everybody else knows, like, nah, there's no stopping that bullshit, but you don't even care. You just like fucking throw a giant fucking spark out in the middle of nowhere and let the world like harass you and shit. And I'm not into that. Like I put up stuff and it's like we learned together, we went on a journey, and whatever was found there that was to be omened as magical we'll deal with later, because the fortitude of our reconnaissance about all of that wisdom boiling up to the top to a real conclusion, a philosophy or something definitive understandingly is almost as tangible as a being state of understanding what it was all worth, something. The other thing, well, shit, man, you just kind of wasted it and everybody else just wants to harass life and then break down and then, like, have nothing but think that they're going to get a fucking, spoil of, like, fucking, fucking food and snacks and shit, or a dessert. No, that's not what a lesson is. That's not what learning actually is. And learning can be fun and good. It's supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be so stupid that it just always has the risk. Like, most pioneering doesn't involve that much fucking risk. You're addicted to being an adrenaline junkie or something else. Too much risk implied in that lesson. That shit crazy. I wish I could go further more on that, but that shit just drive me. I should make it a 3-hour speech where I just keep re-elaborating the story of how that person's stupid, because then you'll start to realize where, like, in every dimension this person was rejected, and I can't even believe I'm still talking about it for 15 minutes. Anyway, I'm out of here. But just trust me, when Hypnox says he could talk about it for 4 to 6 hours about how stupid that person is, and then go down things, it's like a filibuster, and they just start realizing, like, holy shit, this man meant it. Because then he starts re-elaborating all these crazy stories that people don't even know existed but did exist. And then, like, you start realizing, oh my God, that story did happen. And that's where you lost out on fate and you were thrown out of that. And that's why no one actually knows those stories in history. But also it's because that person chose to be stupid, but it echoes throughout humanity that form of stupidity was acceptable. So those scenarios and those forms of histories that are long forgotten don't actually exist. And they're like, well, because you want to talk to people in your fucking head. I don't owe you. A lot of that, too. Fuck would I give you science? Why we go back to Arcadia and I just fucking throw you in a fucking lake and shit. Tell you to walk that shit off. You're like a sheep herdswoman. I fucking owe you, wench. Or some shit. Like, I just gotta drop your ass off somewhere else. But I guess back to the beginning point, which is that if it all runs linear, parallel, or in some kind of symmetry eventually, all of that catches up to us, and the monkeys know or have realized that the location doesn't really matter. Even if there was multiple dimensions and that's not how you're covering it up, you're on a streamline of one long string winding into one knot that looks like the same string that's going like a guitar string and still looks like a piano string, but one big piano string that can hit every single fucking note and wrap back into its fucking self like it was a part of chords or anything like that. Even anything like that, you are still in one position to bear witness to all of that in a perspective along with all of us, or in some kind of, you can still be alone, I'm not saying that, like, people live spiritually that way. Hopefully you're involved in something greater and deeper than why you'd be in some socialistic stupid bullshit or people just being a vampire in your life. But let's get back to, and you still eventually go your own way. But let's get back to the fucking point. Because of that, 2D doesn't begin to explain why you could draw yourself somewhere different on that piece of paper, but you're still essentially in the same location. But once they realize that the myth and the theory about you actually existing in humanity beyond the fact of what a perception is, like adding up the fragments of light into why you still are a spectrum and a frequency and still inherit a location from the world that still fits in to a, I want to say, cylindrical, or I forget the other word, a tubical type of understanding. That means that somewhere in the well they could throw a rock down and know where you are. But then once they discover that beyond all this understanding and more confusion than actual wisdom or science, which is just confusing and in the way of your natural instincts, at least how I perceive it, for being an idiot loser to a bunch of people who deserve their degrees and all their hard work. Not putting that shit down. Of course, we need rock solid facts and science and all that bullshit. But that beyond the fucking point, once the monkeys know that it's a frequency or that it's just like, oh my God, they're not even in the storybook, it's one fucking page, that's the end of the fucking story. However they fold that page, however they roll it, wherever they put it, that camera is still in the top corner of that fucking cell, and that fucking piece of paper still has a corner, so you're gonna fall off the edge of the earth, or you wasn't with us and they don't know. So by the end of it, and you'll always still have privacy because it's not a privacy issue. It's about the fact that, like, how could you be so arrogant knowing all of that and then jeopardize all of us who aren't even there for the person? So I don't know, whatever. That shit's just fucking disgusting. It'd be like one of the piano keys like screaming while the rest of them have to sit there and wait for them to be collected for some fucking sort of punishment for blaming for rock and roll because they were all demons or some shit. Fuck if I know. It's just fucking ludicrous to know that they would try to jeopardize us all for a common motherfucking thing. So anyway, but knowing that and that still is a location, I don't know how you really think you're going to run away from that to be so fucking arrogant when all you had to do was shut the fuck up and enjoy fucking life and not make it a frequency by overdoing your fucking radio to a point where all of us start to realize, like, why the fuck are you, like, hashing out a nexus about some shit that I don't owe you? So that's just fucking disgusting. For other people who mind their own business and prefer privacy just because they're a tinker or whatever, or you know too much about reality so you just don't even like talking to those type of people, or ruining life for anyone else, or it's not really an AI and a simulation and you shouldn't have to feel depressed about it. It's just a lot of shit that technically makes life feel empty and like tacky, or like just feels like, you know, everything is already in block print, so it's just boring as hell for it to even be only magic and betraying all the people's perfect hard work. So by the end of it, it still narrows down to why would someone be so arrogant and try to talk over them and be dominant in their fucking life? Just to be curious and just try to fence wisdom out of them that doesn't belong to them. I don't know, but it bothers a lot of other people in masteries, and the reason I'm not bothered by that is because I was raised by a lot of really good, strong-minded people. But then in the end, if it bothers them, it does bother me too, because you shouldn't have to be that arrogant. So I try to put it away before you have to suck their toes about why they're so good, or why I have to explain that they're so magnificent or magnanimous or charismatic or whatever makes them great and special. But all that for someone who's arrogant and basically just trying to drain us of wisdom, you can't do that to most of the other ones, because the flagship is passed on so that you have something to go build love and foundation and love and life with. Not so much love, but, you know, love and respect for life and love, because you love respecting life. Now, there's something. But anyways, by the end of it, all of that, and the person just want to be arrogant enough to, like, you know, filter fucking information from us. Like, the things I'm telling you are so strong because they did something so arrogant and strong that if you figure out your way from this puzzle I left you in perimeter with the variable right there, the arrogance of that person looks so fucking stupid that when you realize you're ahead of her or you're ahead of them, and that's all I want from that. So I hope I didn't make anyone feel shitty. I hope you'll realize how big and beautiful the world actually is, and that none of us are against you. Magic ain't against you. There ain't no trickster or pilferer here. Like, it's just that person was just fucking arrogant and wanted some knowledge from us that we're forbidden to fucking give, because it just makes the world a shitty place. And I'm not sure why they would push so hard for that as some kind of vengeance to us for not fighting for her or fighting for him or putting up with their bullshit. Like, we don't need to honor that. So, you know, whatever. All that for nothing. Just because they wanted to talk over somebody and act better, like, you know. Or then blame famous people and hide behind them for some fucking reason. That shit trash. And it never did anything for me except for like the instant respect you get out of that is their celebrityhood. Hell yeah, I went to go mind my own fucking business. But it's still kind of one of them things where like hopefully they dealt with it like a mature adult. I don't fucking know and I don't really care. It wasn't my fucking problem. How I helped by not being a geist or by not being a fifth dimensional imp or some shit is how I dealt with that. A sixth dimensional imp wouldn't behave that way probably anyway. So anyway, well, once you're out of there and there's like, 12 things to worry about, then, whatever. You know what I could use though? If anything, you're like, what the fuck? And like you realize like, man, he must be, what's his problem or blah, blah, or what could cure him or blah, blah. You know what I'd like to see? A good movie where like the hero is like getting a group of people or a small group, not a big group, not no big ass like crazy, fucking whatever. I'm talking about like just like a small group of people nursing the way out. It's like I got grandmother Cho here. I got like, two Asian twins. I got like a fake Thanos, a flame dude, he's kind of dressed like a biker demon. Like, I got like a small little crew, and then like most of them are quiet and reasonable. One giant nerd person, he's just a big nerdy robot looking dude with robot emotions, and like I got a real small group, and like two other people from two different cultures that are well known, and they're like, damn near kings there. Maybe let's say like a king of Saiyans and maybe two Bakis or something like that. Like that's the small crew. And the type of person that I am as a American tank or some shit, just trying to get us down this fucking hallway with the trade language that is a good work resource. And that's it. While we hand up flags in a blind world, trying to get out of the tunnel of sunlight where everything is pure. And we're not impure, it's just that it's so much light that it's blinding that we have to flag our way out into purity, for further more purity. I'd like to see a movie of some guy, a basic superhero, just like getting a fucking like, a crew of starving camping people up to the next hiking place and fucking just saving each other and knowing, taking little 5 minutes with each character in the fucking movie and just like learning what they're good at, them contributing to the story and going to another fucking mountain quest and making it to the next civilization and being happy or something. A movie like that, but real simple. It could even be like a fucking cheesy action movie. I don't know. I don't care. But it's just a movie like that. That's what I'd like to see. That's some good therapy. Give me something like that. Because I'm not really that mad, but I'm just saying, like, after all that bullshit, like, wow, he's all worked up for nothing. Because it seems like nothing, and I know it always will. But, like, even with all the big things that I drop and people are like, he could be talking out of his ass. When you realize, all right, then. But when it gets back to the fucking point, but you know what's weird? The world is a really empathetic place. So go lay there for a little bit. You ever lay down for 5 minutes in this new world, in this modern day world? All right, then. Don't worry about it. So anyway, we go on forward, and it's not even that big of a deal for other people that have to walk out of that, because there's so many bigger things than them and their bullshit. But like a small group like that just has to walk away from some goddamn guy trying to offer the whole team a shitty deal that just disrespects everything we've ever worked for, but they don't know it. And they just keep offering us up gambles and commercials and stupid schizo shit and paranoid delusions that we fix and then go back to normal. But we fix them in the really unexciting, boring way that people don't like until it's so bad that we have to do something complicated and hypnotic and crazy and beautiful as a team. And it's just like, ask the two strong guys to put the totem pole over there, and then we're going to sit two of us over here to the right, and then I'm gonna go like a quarter 45 or 35 degree angle and sit there, and then I'm gonna put some food on the other side. We're gonna light the fire at a 90 degree angle adjacent from us and where north is, and then we're gonna sit and talk for a little bit while those two are exercising, and then or something. And that's my side of the other fucking story. While we're sitting here and this guy's talking to us, and we're like in a shell microcosm of a bubbled scenario of time and space where it doesn't seem to matter while this guy is giving us fucking deals and we're all like, no thank you, that defeats the purpose of where we're going, and at the next farm we're gonna do this or that for some normal things. Just, I don't know, just normal. But the guy just kept offering us weird ass deals like, did you know gold is infinite if you help me with this part of why gravity doesn't fall into the consummation of what true growth is, then I can give us infinite gold once you get to this other city and meet me by my palace where I have a certain amount of power to cover 60-degree angle of that cast of time from where you all were sitting. The answer is no, sir. We are going up the stream, grabbing some fish, and then going to the next town because it was unnatural to deal with that. And then if we got that much gold out of it, it would be great. But then we'd have to carry that much gold to the next place, or we could only spend it in your towns because you're corrupt. So, you know, it's always corrupt with you. So it's just weird. And it was like, you send his bitch and like, yeah, okay, she has big titties. Okay, so anyway, so by the end of that, it's still like, the only difference was that she had big titties and offered us worse things and then tried to taint us when you were wrong, even though she doesn't know you and has nothing to do with you. So I don't know, whatever. It seems like redundant as shit that life works that way. And to other spiritual people that don't understand us and we're like perfect puzzle pieces that fit, it's like, I don't have to be ugly to make this work, but it's one of them things where like all of us are doing our job. And I know the team doesn't look extraordinary, but it's just one of them things where like, you know, they're doing their thing, you know. And it's nice that we brought a grandmother with us too, which is really sweet. But well, whatever, anyway, just long story short, if anyone figures out any of those mysteries or why or whatever in the long run, like, you know, I don't know, just figure out the mystery later, I guess. Because it'll get you out of so many fucking things and problems, and I hope you better than, like, what the world wanted from us or whatever the fuck that conversation was. Anyways, I'm out of here. Oh, it'll cost you 25 mil to talk shit like me.